Morning.
Morning.
All right. So first, right off the top, I got a couple of messages yesterday that I was uncharacteristically mean to people that, calling them stupid, telling them they didn't know what they were talking about, come and do better and whatever. So here's what I want to do right off the get-go. Okay. I'm not apologizing because everything I said was accurate and true, but there's some people who like to sort of like peripherally or very superficially get into politics because it's fun for them. The complaining, the fighting is just part of their enjoyment. And I don't want people to be deprived of what makes them happy, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to believe in that Trump is the Antichrist and that makes you happy every day and that makes you take your vitamins and have fully formed number twos, like I'm cool with that.
Ew.
All right. But I'm going to call a spade. So this is my weak apology that if you say, Joe, I want to be mad and just leave me to be mad, I will respect that. And you allowed to be mad at whoever you want. Only thing I won't be able to tolerate is where you're pretending like you're serious. You are unmatched in the conversation and you allow your information to supplant good information and good logic. That's my promise to the viewership. So, all right, what'd you have on your melon now that I got that off my chest?
I
sorry to ruin that for you.
That's okay. You remind me of that. They say a bad apology is an apology that's something like, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yes, I've done many of them. I had this one lady. Oh, she was so freaking mad at me, right? Something went south, right? And I already came to terms with it. And she was still very upset that it went south. And I was not sorry that it happened because that was a factor in what we were doing. There was a 60% chance that it was going to go that way. So I had already known that was a possibility. So yeah. I said I'm really sorry that you're upset about it. Right.
Yeah.
Instead of apologizing for something that I wasn't sorry for.
Yeah.
She wanted to force it on me. She wanted to say, just say you are sorry. And I'm like, I can't do it.
But I'm
sorry
not.
You're upset because that's the only part that's true.
Yeah. And I'll use that if it is a situation where there's a disagreement.
Yep.
I still feel like I was right. I made the right choice. I have nothing to apologize for, but I don't want this rift to continue.
Right.
That's when I use I'm sorry you feel that way.
Exactly.
And they're like, well, that's not an apology because I'm not apologizing for what happened.
Off, you've got my answer and you're not going to leverage me emotionally to get me to say I'm sorry. But how many people, for the sake of relational whatever, will apologize something where they don't believe it? Would you rather that?
Oh God, unfortunately, I'm a bit of a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I'm like saying sorry all the time, even though I'm like, why am I saying it?
I am not.
Yeah. Like somebody could totally be out of line. There's a disagreement. And then it's almost just like, if they then end up saying, hey, I'm sorry for whatever, then I feel like I have to be like, yeah, I'm sorry that I engaged. Like, I don't know, but I just feel like I have
Well, you ever feel like the person you're talking to is really too stupid to be in the conversation with you, and you are the polite position to not like lecture them on how they're not even worthy to be talking to you in the moment, and for the sake of peace that you'll say something that you don't really mean.
Yeah.
I'm never in that position. I like to tell people when they, hey, I'll do it politely. I'll do it with tact. I'll say, listen, dude, you're like a 1% in this discussion, right? Get to 25% and then we can talk, kind of thing. And it's not ego. It's literally, I try harder than everybody else to have an understanding for things. And I like to be unbiased. So when you come at me with your talking points that you inherited from someone you heard on the radio, that's you being intellectually lazy. And I don't hear those words from you at all. Right.
Yeah.
So if I see that you tried harder than me, then I will defer to you, and you might be more right than me. And I'm okay with that.
I even see this a lot with the general public. Like anybody who works with the general public will understand when I say, my patience is wearing very thin. Yeah. But I have found that like, I'll say I'm sorry in a situation that the customer, client, whatever is so clearly in the wrong.
Yes.
You're so wrong. You took this the wrong way. You did the wrong thing. We did everything right. You're being unreasonable, period. And I'll almost give this like, well, I'm sorry that you're upset. Like,
Exactly.
sorry
So
that this didn't go the way you wanted it to, but
you would not get disagreement from me. It's got, and honestly, like everything from truth to nature, like when you start really formulating the realities of things, it does not feel good to hear truth, especially when it conflicts with what you believe. And so intelligent people will absorb new truth, right? And they'll try to make a better understanding of something with new information. Really superficial people, because they don't want to hear it so bad, they will character assassinate. They'll try to destroy you. They'll demean you. They'll go right to insults, right? And then they don't learn anything. So once you're in one of those back and forth with somebody who's not intellectually dynamic, that's being a very polite version of it. You really, there's actually an intelligent person out there for you, right? Somebody who will debate you. So every minute you spend talking with, and I'm going to call them brain dead, because my general feeling for most people are playing a game where they're allowed to play, but if anybody had any standards, they would never be permitted to be on that field. And most people that participate in, public dialogue are not up for it, right?
Yeah.
And so you almost have to tolerate that you have the weakened person trying really hard, and you either have to treat them like they're, just a incapacitated person, or you ignore them entirely and find your mate with someone who can actually argue on any kind of level.
Yeah.
That's where I find myself a lot.
And to your point from yesterday, when you had talked yesterday about how you could understand that Trump would be so fiery back at people and say harsh things,
100%.
because he has been the target of that for so long.
Right.
Like, there are few people I know personally that get more shit than you. Like, people will just try to annihilate you verbally or on social media because they disagree with something.
Yeah.
And they will be the name callers and the irrational ones and the ones being mean. And it's so funny that the moment you say anything even remotely close to what has been fired at you 100 times, they're like, oh my God, you're uncharacteristically mean. And I'm like, you just said uncharacteristically mean.
Yeah.
Does that not tell you it's in response to something?
Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes I don't ever want to lash out, and I don't want to get the emotions the better of me and say something that is uncharacteristic. So that's why I want to start off the show by saying it really wasn't uncharacteristic. It needed to be said. And it's only said, like, I'm not going to every day take up that argument. Once it's laid out there, I expect you all to like tell everybody else that I'm not someone you want to play with in that way. But every day is not going to be a rehashing. But I wanted to at least follow up that if some people felt like I took some of their joy away, that wasn't my intention. It was the intellectual dishonesty of someone parroting somebody else's complicated ideas, but done so in a way where you just said the words, but you don't freaking even know what they mean.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to feel like they're stupid. Even if they're stupid, I really want dumb people to feel like at least they have some kind of reason to get out of bed that day so that they can try harder and get better and add to it. So if I can give some inspiration, that if I call you stupid, it's not because that's the end of the game. That's where you dig in and try to dig up some intelligence and try to add something to your arsenal.
Would they prefer you maybe instead of saying stupid, say you're ignorant on this? You're ignorant on this topic.
That's just like trying.
PC?
I would rather the word conflict with you. I'd really rather the word really you take exception to it so that it maybe inspires you harder. If I dumb it down and make you feel good about it, which I normally do. Like when I call someone an idiot, I think of 7 other synonyms that will mean that same thing, but allow me to say it without hurting your feelings.
I'm running through my head now. Everything you've ever said to me. Was that just a synonym for calling me stupid?
Oh, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Your heart.
Well, this is probably a good segue then into an issue that I was involved in yesterday. And I'm still conflicted over whether or not I should have apologized. My daughter is very, I don't know how to explain it. With it, she's always paying attention. She's always watching. She's always listening. Like my son, my husband and I can have an adult conversation. And if my son's doing something, he doesn't even know we're there, let alone what we're talking about. But my daughter's always got an ear out and is always watching, which has been a good thing in some instances, very observative, learns a lot, takes a lot in, but also tends to then butt into our conversations.
Okay.
And
Love
we
it.
have, yes.
I love her so much right now.
And we've mentioned this before, that we are talking about something that does not involve you, and you've interrupted us. And now we have to pause and explain to you that you got it wrong. You don't know what we're talking about, and maybe you should butt out and we can get back to our conversation instead of this interruption. Well, again, last night, I'm talking to my husband about something, about some other trip at some other time and this potential for flights and things of that nature in the future, and saying a couple things like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't. I don't think it's going to work out, and blah, blah, blah. So here comes my daughter out of her bedroom and says, what, are you not going on your trip this weekend? And I'm like, no, I'm not even talking about that. And if you would mind your own business, you don't have to worry about it. That's not even what we're talking about. This doesn't involve you. And she's just like, all right, went back in her room. And I felt so bad about that. And I'm in my bedroom and I'm like, about to go in her room and say, I'm sorry I snapped at you to mind your own business. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it because you should mind your own business. This has, again, nothing to do with anything you know about. You don't know anything about the subject matter we're discussing. You've just interrupted us. So what should happen? Would there have been benefit in me going in and saying, I'm sorry that I again told you to mind your own business? Or should I say, when you're an adult, if you do that to another adult who's in a conversation and you butt in like that, they may snap at you, and I should let that just ride. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I feel bad, but I want her to learn. What would you do? WWJD.
It's a coin flip, because if the correct tract is taken, it could be extremely beneficial for a curious person to want to lend themselves into the topic.
Yeah.
And if you demotivate someone from putting their 2 cents in there. Now, so I think both what she added to the conversation was not effective. It was not valuable. But I think that you had the courage to interject is valuable, right? So do I want my kid, like, you're a bad mom, first off. Like, I want to tell you that.
I knew it.
Your mothering skills are terrible.
I knew it.
But on another note, it's redeemable. You're going to be able to go back to the well and appreciate the fact that she had something to lend in. The problem is the value of what she had to lend in was not thought through. It's impulsive rather than contemplative, right?
Yeah.
And so if something is valuable, she would have come in, she would have added her 2 cents, and then a light bulb would have gone off and said, holy shit, that was a perspective that I didn't take. So what I do when the problem is that, especially in our culture right now, like, you have these things in your brain that you come to these conclusions and you sit sort of in the weeds and wait for someone to loosely talk about something that you're passionate about. And then you spring up and then you vomit what you feel about something. And again, loosely. So it was more about what you wanted to say than it added value to the conversation. I don't think people really, like when I go to a networking meeting or a social engagement or whatever, I don't talk to anybody. Right. The reason is because one of my standards, if I have nothing more valuable to add to the conversation, I don't. You're not going to just small talk. Shut up. Right. Yeah. And so, like, if somebody starts talking about something in my wheelhouse, I will absolutely talk to them because it's something I can add to the conversation. If somebody starts talking about, like, their soccer game, my brain is going, I can't add anything to this freaking story. I don't even know the purpose of this story. Like, what am I supposed to be getting out of this story? So I listen and I nod. And I politely move on to the next conversation, having not added any, because I know I wasn't valuable. So, but with so many people that have a level of confidence, and that's we pulled bullying out of schools. We made everybody feel safe. We made everybody have confidence. The problem is that it's not real confidence. The information in your head is not valuable to anybody else. So you vomiting at them, nobody leaves the conversation being made better than what they brought to the conversation. So these dolts who you gave them reasons to spout their nonsense, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I'm made, the Billy Madison, where the guy's like,
we're all now dumber for having
all
heard
having
it.
dumber listen to what you said.
Oh, I love
That is everybody, every freaking conversation. And so, yeah, you want to inspire to be thoughtful to what you're about to add. You know the context of what's being discussed, so you know whether or not what you say has any value to be added to the conversation that's to be had. So you don't have these emotional hijackers, right, that just have a thing they want to say and they come along and, you know, jump out of the weeds at you and, you know, vomit on your shoes. That's terrible.
Because I'm glad she's listening all the time for instances that I need her to be.
Right.
You know, like I don't want her to just shut off from everything being said.
Right.
I want her to take some in. But you obviously didn't take in any of the context of what I was saying. You just heard something that was like a buzzword to you, assumed you knew what I was talking about, interjected, and I'm like, dude, that's not even what we're talking about.
Exactly.
You're way off base.
Yeah.
Like,
but
quit interrupting.
If you can graduate where you don't, you know, sort of like demotivate them to be able to interject, but you put standards on it so that you're not like giving them a trophy for some stupid thing that they added to the conversation, then they'll find out what the standard actually is. And they'll be more thoughtful about the conversations they bring in. So my kid, 15-year-old, I'm sculpting him to be an MIT student, and he's going to absolutely change the world. So his insight, where, you know, when you're a young person, there's very little you can add to the conversation. But when he adds something valuable to the conversation, you know what I do with it? I enact it immediately. I bring it to the real world. I bring it to fruition. And even if there's no benefit in doing it, I show him that when he says smart things, right, it gets utilized. And when he says dumb things, he gets minimized. So he has this relationship between when, if I did something that's worthwhile, value gets added on top of it and everybody takes me serious. But if I'm dumb, right, there's not anybody that's going to patronize me and tell me I'm such a cute, smart kid when everything you just told me was really dumb, right? That relationship is freaking reality.
It kind of makes me think of other instances. She'll say something and then I think she'll expect action on it like that.
Yes.
Like we were all on a bike ride one night and there's a coffee shop close to our house. We could easily ride bikes there. And she's like, hey, tomorrow morning, we should ride our bikes to this coffee shop. And we were like, oh, that would be fun. That would be a good idea.
Execution.
But then we couldn't. We didn't. We just said that would be a good idea. That would be fun. And because we didn't do it the next morning, she's mad.
Yeah.
Well, why can't we go? And it's like, we didn't say we would. We said that would be fun. That's a good idea. We can't ultimately... And something might come up, something might, whatever.
That's why you're a bad mom, is because you didn't prioritize.
That false hope.
Right. You should have put major effort into making something that was unimportant to you, but everything to her.
Or should I have been clear and said, I like that idea. I don't know if we can. There's a lot of variables.
Oh, no, that's the parent spike the football.
But what do you do if you're like, I like that idea, but it can't happen? Like, we're not going to, even though that would be fun.
No, it would be that's a really good idea. Let's put it on the list of other good ideas. And when that one comes up on the priority list, let's do that one.
Like, so if your kid's like, let's get in a rocket and go to Mars, Dad.
Or, right,
you'd be like, that'd be fun, but we're not.
Okay. If it's impractical, like kids bullshit meters are finely tuned. So if you said we can't go to, in their mind, what are they saying? No, we really can. Right? Do we have bikes?
But I want to.
Is it open? Do we have enough money? Do we have the opportunity? Do we have the interest? There's 5 reasons why it totally is possible. Now, if we said the Mars thing, like I can add like, okay, well, we don't have a rocket. We don't have enough money to do it. It's a dangerous place to go. I can come to the conclusion that on the priority list of things we want, it's not a practical thing to do today. Like then I would say, hey, you know what? Let's put this on my calendar in 5 years and see if technologically we're any closer to making that a reality. And we'll revisit this in the future. Taking it serious means that they share more smart things, right?
Yeah.
Pacifying them means that their ideas are never really important enough to take serious. And even if they're not at your level of sophistication, at least they had a seed of true thought process, and you want to encourage that. So I'm teaching how to be a better mom. Like I am not a good mom, but I am teaching others to be a good mom.
That's comforting.
Don't do what Joe says. Pick a better
Do as I
mom
say, not
mentor.
as I do.
Pick a better mom mentor for sure. Even though this is all truth, pick a better mom mentor. I'm not it.
Good to know. Good to know. If anyone else wants to weigh in on that, who is more of a mom than Joe, then
Yes, a better mom than. And if you want to ridicule me on how dare I take someone who's gone through childbirth, ever be in the position to lecture you on momship?
I want to know where all my people are that are like, how dare you call Kelin a bad mother? You're such a jerk. Crickets this morning, apparently. Nobody has said that.
Well, I'm down for a good discussion. And in the ways that I'm right, I will continue to be right. And in the ways I don't really care. I'll defer to you, and you'll get some rightness out of this, I'm sure. Now, let me take some emphasis on the bad mom side. That was more of a colloquial. That is more of a, maybe a
joke.
Maybe a joke.
Yeah.
Because in momship and compare, like, if you were taking all moms and compare them to all other moms, you would be in the top 1%. I am certain of it. But you're not a perfect mom, is all I was saying.
No. God, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I have no delusions that I'm a perfect mom. But some moms do crack, and I don't do that. So
that's exactly right. You're already at the top, like no fentanyl, no crack in your household. You're top 50%.
Not like leaving my toddler home alone so I could go dance for dollar bills somewhere. Like,
now
it
you're in the
worse.
top 25%.
It could be
like
worse.
You keep just shuttling yourself. And that's the best part of being alive in our culture right now, is that you don't have to be phenomenal. Right. You don't even have to be fast. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be prosperous. Right. Mm-hmm. You just have to not be dumb. And you were in the top 10%.
I saw there was some quote or some meme or something somewhere that said, like, if you're unsure whether or not you're a good mother, the fact that you're even worried about it shows that you are.
Now you're top 10%. You keep just sliding upwards. We'll get you in the top 1% before all is said and done. Yep, and you will have a couple of MIT kids as well.
MIT kids.
So somebody there was a meme that was posted about when your kids wake up and they're ready to go to school, don't scream at them, don't lecture them, don't tell them they have to get ready. Make it peaceful so that they enter their day with lots of peace. And
go ahead.
And I said, no, kids are friction absorbing problem solvers. They need to have an ice bucket dumped on their head to get their ass out of their lazy bed, and a military drill instructor needs to be on them to teach them the disciplines of being a regimented, productive member of society. You are not raising Jello. You are raising warriors that need to be able to hit obstacles and not say, oh, I feel so targeted, so bad, so sad in this. I have PTSD and I have all kinds of emotional, baggage at 10 years old that I can't take a little wake up call and an alarm. There you go.
So,
yeah.
So two things. One, I did see a video online yesterday. It was a dad. He was mad at his son because his son just told his mother to chill. Mm-hmm. And he's like, did you just say chill to your mother? And he's like, push-ups, man, push-ups. And he made him, and he's like, awesome. How many, Dad? And he's like, push-ups. But how many? Push-ups. And this guy, supposedly, it was the internet, but he claimed to be a child therapist. He was like, yes, boys need this. Yes. Boys learn through physical movement. They are usually kinesthetic,
yeah.
Learners.
Yeah.
A boy will process, literally in his brain, process a concept better if given a physical punishment than timeout.
Yeah.
That just means nothing to them. They don't get it. And so I was like, that's interesting. But to your point about ice bucket to wake them up, what I do with my kids, and you're going to hate this, at night, and this could stem from when they were babies. When they're newborns, they have no sleep schedule and no circadian rhythm. And so they say low light, soft voices when it's bedtime to teach them that it's bedtime. Mm-hmm. And as soon as it's morning, get lots of open the window shades, bright lights, loud noises until it's bedtime and teach them the difference. So maybe I'm just still in that mode, but my kids are now 10 and 11. At night, I will go to their bedrooms, turn off the overhead lights and turn on a little lamp so that they go into their rooms that way in low lighting. And then in the morning, I will come in and I don't turn any lights on, quietly wake them, let them sit up and get their bearings. Then I'll say, cover your eyes, lights coming up. And I do that. I get a hug in the morning all the time. And I love that, where it's softly put you to sleep and softly wake you up. Now, having said that, if I have softly woken you up and you still are not getting up, now it's get your ass out of bed, get in there now. If you're not going to respond the right way the first time, all right, now we'll make it hard.
I'm not giving you any shit about that.
Okay.
So I hate alarm clocks. I hate them. I think the worst thing in the world is to be jolted out of bed by a loud
wake up to a heart
clock.
attack.
So my alarm goes off at 5:30. And my objective,
Me too.
My objective is to be awake already so that I can turn it off before it goes on. So my goal is to sleep well, wake up before the alarm, and then have total peace earned by my ability to control my sleep.
Yeah.
So if you do a lot of things, like I go rehearsals going into bed that lower my heart rate, not looking at screens, no television, no anxiety right before bed, the calmness going into it so I sleep better. And then my body, when it wakes up, I give it enough time that, let's just say need 6 hours of sleep, and I wake up in 5 hours and 40 minutes and I set my alarm for 7. So the alarm is a freaking backstop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get up when I tell myself that I'm going to get up, and I take all kinds of preparations to get there, right?
Yeah.
And so that's earned when I don't have to hear an alarm. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now, if you do a lot of things that cause disruptive sleep, and so your alarm clock is like your gun to the head, right? And I didn't do anything in preparation. Well, it's an unearned jolt out. So in your head, it's like, if I want peaceful, I've got to do things that buy me peace. If I want abrupt jolts, then I'm willing to pay the consequences for staying up late, playing video games, watching a horror movie right before I go to bed, looking at screens right before I fall asleep, and not getting enough sleep. So your jolting is earned. Now the connection is you get two choices. You do what I do, which causes a lot of investment into not having to have an alarm, or it's like, oh, in spite of you doing nothing to earn a peaceful wake up, mom's going to come in and make it free from the disaster that you created. Mine's authentic. And in your case, it sounds like yours is authentic too. But it's probably not everybody.
Yeah.
Like if you had you have to build into the equation though, that if you have a kid that's a bear when they wake up, right, then you can have the worst circumstances. And if you're a bear, then you know what it means to not let the bear come out, right?
Yeah.
And so if you don't wake up quickly, then you say something like, okay, well, you got to be at school at whatever o'clock. And so let's wake you up a half hour so you could put the bear away.
Yeah.
And then a half hour to actually get up. And when we're in our half hour bear put away stage, I'm not going to bother you. I'm not going to poke the bear. I'm not going to try to elicit the response I'm 100% going to get. We'll factor that in.
Yeah. And that was an eye opener when we started having babies, is like, and I agree. If I can wake up, and it's not often, but there are occasional instances I will wake up before my alarm and I'll be like, oh yes, like this is good. I naturally woke up. I won't feel so bad.
Exactly.
If I wake up to the alarm, like out of a dream state, feel awful.
Yeah.
I hate that.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I have found that either way, whether I wake up right before it or I wake up to an alarm, if I'm waking up then, maybe I'm groggy, I'm sleepy, I don't feel great, but I'm okay. I found when we started having newborns, if I am woken up in the middle of the night out of a dead sleep, nowhere near the time that I should be getting up, bear. My husband and I both. Like, I tell people, we've never been more close to the divorce as we were with a newborn baby, because it is two people functioning in the middle of the night at their absolute worst.
Absolutely.
And I can't control it. Like, it's just a different person. I am beyond irritated, beyond annoyed. We're both angry. Like sometimes if I get woken up in the middle of the night, I get nauseated. Like I physically feel like I could throw up. It's awful.
Yeah.
I'm like, avoid that at all costs.
All right. Did you see South Park, by the way?
No.
South Park season, what is it, 27 now? They're on fire. They are on fire.
Oh, yeah.
So episode 1 caused a lot of controversy because they took major shots at Donald Trump's small penis and being in bed with the devil. And
because they used to do that with Saddam Hussein.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, I think the role of comedy in society is basically make fun of everyone and make them uncomfortable. And the more you say that's uncomfortable, the better. So they have, and what's authentic about them is that it's everybody, right? So when they put you on blast, just know that they have put literally everybody on blast. There's nothing safe or sacred when it comes to things that are happening in our culture and what needs to be called out. It's satire, it's supposed to be comedy. So you're taking things like, are going to make somebody mad. Like the woke people hated the fact when they went after transgender and they went after gay, lesbian, and the woke ideology and whatever. They hated it. And they were like, South Park is irrelevant. They're not even funny. But now when they're like, Trump's got a small penis, they're like, oh, comedy gold. It's so funny. And I'm like, satire,
you didn't like it before.
Satire affects you differently, whether or not you think that, you're in the crosshairs or something you believe. Yeah. And I think that is so important to get people that are super sensitive about taking things and being outraged by them instead of just saying, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Cause I feel like I can see videos of making fun of both sides. And even if there's somebody I do support, if it's a good joke, it's a good joke. Like that was funny. Exactly. Yeah.
So that, the arguments are, are they, obviously they're using Trump and everything that he's doing and the unpopularity for, mass appeal, right? Mm-hmm. To say Trump has a small penis, there's a lot of people that's going to think that is freaking hilarious, right? Mm-hmm. Now, it feels like, though, that there are other things that can be lampooned at this time, and there's a majority of their ire, like their focus is on Trump and things that Republicans would absolutely hate. Yeah. But if I know these dudes, they're going to do a couple of them that piss off one just to get those other people with a false sense of security that they've come real close to the landmine. And then boom, one of the things that are going to piss you off is right there.
And then they're going to say,
watch the freaking chaos ensue. And that's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah. I hope so.
So first one was Trump's small penis. That he sues media outlets, and Jesus is he's invited back into schools, right? And he's talking to the kids, and he's talking under his breath because he's afraid that he's going to be sued by the Trump administration. So funny shit, right? Premise, funny.
I gotta watch this.
Now, this one was Charlie Kirk?
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Cartman, one of the kids at school started a podcast where he did all of the, Republican talking points, and he was owning a bunch of college kids and whatever. And it was the same,
like Charlie Kirk does.
Charlie Kirk. Cartman gets pissed off, and then he wants to dethrone this kid at school and do the Charlie Kirk. And he does his hair like Charlie Kirk. He does the water bottle thing, the microphone. It was brilliant.
Oh my God. So brilliant. I gotta see this. I'm going to look it up today.
Yeah, it was really good.
I did see a picture of, it looked like a chubby Charlie Kirk. So that must have been Cartman, dressed as Charlie Kirk.
Yes, it was brilliant.
Carter says having a small penis is irrelevant when you are a billionaire.
No, that's what's expected. Like if you do have a small penis, all you have to do is get a bunch of money, and then the scales are righted. Right? There's compensation that actually happens, and there's no shame in compensating for a small package. I assure you.
I probably told you this before, but I yell at people that drive big trucks.
Yes.
Like not just the big truck, but I'm talking about when you see those guys in the big souped up trucks that go, and they're unnecessarily loud, and maybe they blow like smog out the back, and they're clearly for show. Every time I see some guy drive by in one of those, I will literally yell, "Sorry about your small penis."
Yes. And every time a woman is putting on her
clearly
makeup in the
compensating.
rearview mirror, not paying attention to traffic lights or
Oh
signals, and
God.
being completely brainless, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
We all
Do you
have,
yell, sorry, you're ugly?
yeah. It's gonna take more than that, B. That's what I say.
You might want to pull over and keep going.
Yeah.
Little of this.
I got some Sherwin-Williams back here, B. I use B.
Oh, speaking of that,
Yeah.
God, you know what has become my biggest pet peeve?
Right.
Watching people record themselves on their phone or going live on social media while driving. To me, few things scream narcissist more than that.
Okay.
Not only do you think what you have to say is so incredibly important that it's got to be documented, you've got to tell everyone this, you've got to do it right now. You can't even be bothered to pull over. You don't
You're
even
just jealous.
Oh my God.
Just envy and jealous.
No.
Think about it.
There have been multiple times
listen.
that I'm like, hey, I want to make a video of myself and put it on social media. Okay. But pull over, do it before you leave, do it once you're done. The people that like hit play and start driving around and they're talking about something while they're driving. Sometimes their kids are in the backseat. I'm like, get off the freaking phone. You're driving.
Now, if somebody can do it well, both drive and also interface their influenced audience, like, don't you think that that's an acceptable means of expression?
No.
I'm fascinated by it. Like I go, we do live streaming all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have this consideration in me that I don't want to be in any other's way. I don't want to ruin anybody's experience. And so if I go to a restaurant and I live stream at a restaurant, like I have a complete fear of doing that in front of other people. Even though we do this all the time, at least people can choose to be here. When you're at the gym,
I don't want people to watch me do it for sure.
But when I watch it, I'm like, look how courageous this person is, that they do not have any fear doing this inane thing in front of other people. And I'm like, wow, what do you have to do
while
mentally?
driving?
Sure.
No, because what they're doing
Driving's
is
hard.
they're holding it down here because they know it's illegal.
Right.
And
But
they
what if
don't
do it
want
well?
people seeing
What if they
them.
do it well? That's what I'm saying. Like, man, they can just, pat their head and rub their belly at the same time and do it really well. I'm fascinated with that.
Please tell me you're kidding. You're kidding, right?
If you can't tell, I'm doing my job. Okay? So don't call me out.
I even commented like, I don't want to watch you die in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. If there's something you've got to share with the world, by all means,
What if it's
pull over.
What if it's their cleavage? What if it's a cute outfit that they were wearing and the moment struck them?
Pull
right?
over.
Dude, that
Pull over.
You're gonna listen.
Outfit of the day. Had to show y'all how cute I was.
You pull over and you remove all Riz from the conversation. It's not going to be the same. Think of the chaos.
I'm gonna throw something at you.
Think of the chaos of knowing that you're driving, but look how super cute you look.
Look how cool I am that I'm driving. And then it's like, hey, y'all, I just needed to jump on here real quick and tell you this thought I had. And I just wanted to share it. And anywho, so the other day, and they're driving, and I'm just like, oh, my God.
So if you saw one of those, let's just say you took somebody who gave you some physics. They just had to break from their day and tell you about some kind of new physics principle or idea that they had. And then you had the cute outfit girl. The physics girl, right? 426 views. But the cute outfit cleavage girl in the car, 4.8 million views. And you're like, oh, well, obviously people want to see that. So she needs to cater to her audience. Physics, you got to pull over for that one. That one's not important enough. People don't care about it. But the new color lip gloss, the
beef with maybe your kid's teacher or something.
Right.
Or
I'm going to own that bitch because she told my daughter that she needed to be sit and be quiet, and I ain't having any of that.
Oh, yeah. And I
She's
love
a
it when it's to complain about something somebody else did.
Yeah.
This person did this and that's not right. And I'm like, well, you realize what you're doing right now is illegal.
Dude.
Right now.
Dude. That's logic.
Is illegal,
That's
is
reason.
Dangerous, is not right.
You don't understand. It's got to be.
It doesn't matter.
You're not even a boomer, and yet you're doing boomer-like things.
I am the queen now of like, back in my day, we didn't have that. We couldn't do that. It's funny. You talked about physics. You reminded me of another thing.
Yeah.
We've talked before how like, I don't get it, but the way my brain is built is like, I could recall the lyrics to almost any song I've ever heard,
Right.
but I can't tell you how to do a math problem. Like I
Right.
just can't. So it was so funny the other night. My husband said the word saffron, and another gift of mine is to almost any word and phrase I hear, I can turn it into song. I can tell you where I heard the song lyrics that said that same thing. Like we've tested this, my family and I. Any word, give me any word, I'll pull out a song where that's a lyric in it.
Okay.
And so my husband said saffron. And I started singing that, I'm just mad about saffron, whatever. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They call me mellow yellow. And my husband literally goes, what the fuck? Like, where do you even? And I said, don't you remember in the 90s, there was a Gap commercial and all the models were just laying around singing that song. He's like, no idea what you're talking about. And I'm like, look it up. Gap commercial in the 90s, bunch of people singing that song. That's how I know that song, that commercial. And I pull up YouTube, 90s Gap commercial. They call me mellow yellow. And I show him the commercial and he goes, are you kidding me right now? He goes, Kelin, what's 6 times 6? What's the square root of blah, blah, blah? And I was like, I don't know, but they call me mellow yellow.
All right. So let me create a conflict. So I like math and physics.
Yep.
Okay. You like music and lyrics.
Yeah.
And that girl in the car likes lip gloss and cleavage.
My lip gloss.
All of us
lip gloss is
are
popping.
expressing our God-given talents, right? I'm not judging you. I'm actually giving you credit for having a skill set that I don't have. And I think that's amazing. Can't you just extend a little bit of appreciation for lip gloss girl in traffic? She's just doing what she was built to do.
If someone's driving their car while drunk
Okay.
and they wreck into you,
Right.
are you going to be like, you're allowed to drive. You're allowed to have alcohol. You're just doing or did you now do something illegal?
What if you wreck while singing Mellow Yellow? Like, I'm going to judge that you should have never been using those lyrics in that song to distract you from driving.
I have a concert in my car. There's a real danger
but there's some people that can take their skill set and still drive anyway. So don't be so quick to condemn lip gloss girl.
I love BJ's idea.
Yeah.
BJ says, Kelin, you and I need to do that challenge as a game show segment soon because that happens to me all day, every day. Yes.
Okay.
We should do that. The
Do
music challenge where we just speak in song lyrics and come up with random lyric songs and things.
Who would you go up against? Would it be you versus BJ, or would you pull somebody?
I wouldn't want to verse BJ. I wish we could just be on the same team and help each other because I don't know if I could take him on.
Okay.
But we could maybe like.
Okay. I'd like to see it go down. See who's better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Somebody's
might
getting
be.
a crown for sure.
He would probably be better at some genres and I would be better at others. Maybe I could see that.
Have you ever heard the word incel?
Incel.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
On Twitter X, like I get called an incel on a regular basis, and I never knew really what
incel.
And never knew what it freaking meant. And I found out yesterday what it actually meant. And I'm like, man, like, yeah, it's an insult. Involuntarily celibate. People who want to have sex, but they are involuntarily deprived of sex. So an incel is somebody who's
You're somebody who can't get
not
laid.
very attractive. Somebody who can't get laid. All right. So it's an insult. It's somebody like,
who said this? You tell them. You give me their full name. I want to know who it was.
So Logical Joe says, wait a minute, hold on. Like, you can levy insults at me if they actually make sense, but incel isn't one that applies. Like, I knew you said it because it was thought it was the biggest, thing that you could have said, the meanest thing that you could have said, but make it apply.
You're like, I literally have a child.
Yeah.
How did that happen if I'm such an incel?
Right.
It doesn't even make sense.
Right. And I could produce records of spreadsheets of how often I have sex and show you that there is no involuntarily celibacy that's going on.
That's weird. Let's make fun of that.
It doesn't matter. But it's sort of like You know, those people who are sitting in the grass waiting, they have a thing in their head and they want to sound smart saying something. So they wait someone come along so they can say the thing that they've been saving up for you. That's one of them. Like you are completely deprived of good insults and way of offending people. If
like
that's
George,
what you came up with for me.
It's George Costanza. I should have said, well, the jerk store called and they're out of you.
Exactly. I would respect that one because it's like, at least that one applies. Jerk. The store sells jerks.
Yeah.
I'm out of it. I get it. That's funny. But
yeah.
an incel?
That's what I always say. Like, if someone doesn't like me, you are free to not like me, but make it for something that's actually true. Like, don't make it for something that's not even true.
Yeah. So, but is it not an insult if then you help the person out, add to their arsenal of things to be mean to other people that actually apply and are funny? So if I'm like, no, scratch that one, it doesn't hold any weight.
What you
But
should have said was,
this is the one you should have
if
come
you
after
wanted
with.
to zing me good, you should have said
That would have been
this.
the one to use. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a better, checkmate.
And I've even, there's somebody I know on a daily basis I just have like zingers for. And then every so often he'll get me back and I'll just go, well
Got
done.
me. Exactly.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm talking about. That was a good one.
That it should go down.
Yeah.
So every time you throw like the Trump is a Nazi, I look at my what Trump is and I'm like, there are much better things on my list than Nazi. Nazi wasn't even there.
That's when you should have said, do better.
Yes.
Come on, do better.
Yes.
Like literally do better than that.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not even any good at it. That's why it's so uninspiring to even debate people because they not even good at it.
Incel. It
I'm
almost
incel.
sounds like infidel.
Yeah.
You're like, now that,
What's infidel mean?
I don't even know.
Really?
No, it's infidels are I don't know. Americans are infidels because we have different religious beliefs. I don't.
You're real close on that.
Yeah, it's something like
So
that.
someone who wasn't subscribed to the Islamic faith is
Yeah.
an infidel, someone who's not a believer in. So
Yeah.
infidels should be
Oh, I did know.
stricken down. So I absolutely did. Don't tell
Yeah.
yourself. You got this. Yeah. And
I'm smart sometimes.
are you an infidel?
I guess so.
You're an
yeah.
infidel.
I'm an infidel. What else am I? What are fun things that people can call you and it's like, you're not wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know. I get blonde jokes.
I don't
I
do
am
blonde. Jokes
blonde.
with you. Nah, but
I put it in there, but-
in spirit, you're blonde. Like in no other way, except when you do Valley Girl. That's when, if Valley Girl was real, then I would have blonde jokes apply.
Like if I had like a verbal fry.
Yeah.
You know what a like
yeah.
people, I think not everybody knows what a verbal fry is or that there's a term for it, but yes, like are the people that talk like that all the time.
Totally.
This is why I can't stand reality shows because every girl on a reality show
Mhm.
talks like this. And they could be talking about like physics and the square root of pi and like the lithium that it takes to run a rocket to Mars. And they could use total actual information, but I've already stopped listening because I can't stand this. It's every show. Find a reality show where the female that doesn't do that.
Why are you so good at that?
I don't know. Maybe she's born with that. Maybe it's Maybelline.
You have screeching halted all of my brain activity. In that
I
moment.
win.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stumped you. It's because I put your brain to sleep. That's my verbal fry. There's a clip from a show. What movie is that? It's a movie, I think, with Paul Rudd. Is it Paul Rudd? No, he's in the one where it says it's a tall or it's a large, not a venti.
Yes.
Venti doesn't even mean that. Like venti's 20. And there's another clip with someone going into a coffee shop and the girl's doing that. And he's like, don't do that. That's not how you really talk. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, the verbal fry, that's not natural. You're doing that on purpose. Stop doing that. And she's like, what's your problem? It's just how I talk. And then he finally goes off on her and just loses his shit. And he's like, for by all means, she's like, all right, is there anything else?
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
it is. Do you know anyone who actually talks like that?
No, I have insulated myself from all stupid people. Like I really do have a bubble of stupidity. Like
I know
outside,
someone. We
not
do.
invited.
Oh, we tease all the time, and it's terrible because it's a little kid we know that does that, and it's not on purpose, really. That's just how they talk. And so we always do that when they talk. And I feel bad because it's like, it's not a kid trying to be a Valley girl or anything. It's just how they talk. And I mean, what are you going to do? Not poke fun at it? No.
Not related to this. I always have the bad segue, bad transitions. You always have the really meaningful ones. But I was listening to this the other day. The Parkland shooter, you remember that? Kids got gunned down. Somebody brought an automatic weapon, a semi-automatic weapon, and killed some people. So one of the parents actually had an AI developer create an image of her son that she lost in that shooting, and she has daily conversations with this AI. And publicly, I want to say it was Jim Acosta interviewed the AI, right, on his show, on his new podcast. Jim Acosta is not doing anything these days, but he's interviewing AI Parkland shooter victims, right? And it was the worst. It was the worst example of what human beings are going to do with AI that I have ever seen at this point.
That is gut wrenching.
Yeah. So of course the AI came out and really talked about gun control and mental health and all the political bullet points that Acosta was absolutely looking for. But everything else that it talked about was almost like when we talked to Ani. Right?
Oh God. Ani
doesn't talk like that.
No, Ani
talks, so jealous of Ani.
Talks like an 800, 900 number. Show King. Sorry for the interruption. Joe Show King. We were talking about
Talk Show King.
Talk Show King. We were talking about AI Parkland shooter. Go.
But that's what it was like. It was this back and forth of it was not real conversations. It was if you ask me a question, then the interviewer, or in this case, would ask a question back at you, but it was just so clunky. But the sort of like the emotional element where you took something that should be sacred, it should be something. What?
Julie, OMG, stop it, Kelin.
Something that should be sacred, and if it's left in the memory, you don't want the AI version of your son, right, to be how you remember how your son was. And I think just because there was so much trauma in it for the parents, would you rather have never talked to your son again or talk to the AI robotic version of your son? And I think some parents would.
And it's in his voice.
It's in his voice. It has a video of him talking.
Oh,
it's kind of depraved.
God. Yeah, I don't think I would like that. Like you said, it's not really him. It's not even his personality. It's totally made up and inaccurate. And
but there's a part of you that if you like, I was after I read this, we all think about our mortality, and we think about the mortality of people that we care about. When that person dies, you can't even paint the picture of them not there. But if you could take, like, let's just, I'll use your kids because this is the darkest thing that we're going to talk about today. You didn't have one of them right now, right? The things they did, their little habits, the things that they would say. If I said that I could program an AI to do some of those things, to give you those little reminder moments, right? Would you do it?
Well, I mean, my first instinct is we have things like cell phones now. I have like video of them in my phone. I have like my Snapchat memories bring back old videos of them when they were little all the time. Like your phone pops up videos all the time. So I'd be like, I have that. If I lost those, that might be devastating.
So let's just say you had a bunch of voicemail messages from the kid, right? Would you listen to them?
You know what I do in real life, honest to God? I have a couple of old phone voicemail messages from some family members, like my mom or even my husband, that I just haven't deleted because I said one day I'm going to want that when I want to hear their voice again. Like, isn't that morbid? I do. I have them on my phone.
Would you listen to it?
Probably.
How often? Like, what's the purpose of them?
I don't know. Probably not real often. I don't know. It depends. I don't know.
Like, what? Give me the utility in that. Do you want to like go back to a sad time and miss someone without being able to do anything about it?
I don't know. What if I just want to hear it again and maybe get good memories? Or like, I have found when I get served on my phone a video of my kids as like a toddler, I realize without that video, I can't remember what they look like or sounded like. I cannot pull that up in my head.
But there are other people that are not dead that you can experience in real life. Why take someone who's not here anymore and bring that? Like, what's the purpose of that as a human being to take some, like there's someone from the 1800s that you aren't looking at their picture, you feel nothing for, and whatever. Like, there's some people I would go back and have a conversation with Nikola Tesla, but most people aren't Nikola Tesla. So what would be the function? And instead of talking to a real person that is alive, that you spend a moment to reminisce about somebody who's not here anymore.
I mean, maybe for them, it's a comfort thing.
Okay.
If it's somebody they truly miss and wish they had back and they just want that comforting thing again. And
while depriving a live person, spending it on someone.
No, I don't think you have to deprive a live person. If you are sitting in your room at night before bed and you're not seeing anyone else and you decide to listen to that to think of somebody,
right.
You're not depriving
it's a substitution.
anyone.
No. What if I just watch pornography instead of start a relationship where I can have actual sex? And the more I do the pornography, the more it takes the pressure and emphasis on me actually going and pursuing sex.
Are you assuming that someone will reminisce about a past loved one and then stop talking to the living altogether?
It's time that they can be investing into something that you can do something with.
But if they're not, they're like, well, I'm in bed. It's bedtime. I'm about to go to sleep.
Right.
I'm not talking to anyone. Why
So
not?
maybe instead of watching pornography, I'm thinking about the people that I might be able to meet the next day, where I can invest it into something that has some utility in the next day.
In your opinion, utility. What if to them, that's important utility? I want to hear that. I'm comforted by that. That to me feeds my life and I find it important. That's their utility.
Well, in a quantum world, there's a person that now you're not going to talk to because you went to reminiscing about things that aren't and can't instead of thinking about things that you can and will.
Do you watch movies?
Yeah.
Those aren't people that you can talk to in real life.
It's not a substitution.
Well, hearing a voicemail message from
someone who's not here
is not a substitution.
Oh, so you're listening to the voicemail for entertainment value, to put yourself
to
in
feel
an
something about
space.
it.
Okay.
You feel something about it. You're reminiscing about it.
I'm just saying that you can get those things in the real world, not in through a
Do you
voicemail.
ever look at pictures of video of your son from when he was younger?
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
You ever look at old wedding photos, parties? Why do you take pictures then? Why do you even take them?
I don't.
Why do you look at him? He's not here. Albert Einstein's not here.
See his message?
Why do you even think about him? He's not around.
If I could find a real Einstein here and talk to him the way that I talk to the picture on the wall, I would totally do it.
So if someone's like, if I could really have my loved one here and talk to them in real life, I'd do it. But I can't, so I'm talking to a picture. You talk to that picture. In fact,
yes,
you have said, Joe Danyi, that you look at pictures of your heroes like Elon Musk, who is still alive, and all these other people, and you're like, I spend time with them in the morning to inspire me. Why don't you just go call up Elon Musk?
He won't take my calls. I've tried several times.
Well, someone can't call up a dead person, so they're going to talk to them in another
halfway
capacity.
Bought into it. Right. I personally
think I win this one.
I'm thinking that you have the advantage, but I'm still going to say that if I had something, it's not something that I would even want to listen to at all.
Because we all know you're emotionally dead inside.
That's true.
You don't understand the emotional appeal because you don't have the capacity for emotion.
But just like you can critique the influencer putting lip gloss on, right? Mm-hmm. Different skill set, not in your sphere of understanding. You still critique it.
Oh, I understand it.
You critique it. And you don't have a good grasp on it.
So if a judge is hearing a case about a drunk driver, should they at least understand
Did she kill
them?
Someone? Did she kill someone?
Maybe they caused an accident.
It's not a maybe. I mean, you were talking about a real life person that are not causing accidents.
Okay, they didn't cause an accident.
Right.
But you drove drunk.
right?
But you didn't cause an accident.
Right.
So no punishment?
They're managing it.
No punishment.
They're managing.
Oh,
Well,
God.
is it illegal to put on lip gloss and do a live stream from a car?
Yes, it is.
I
It
don't
is
think so.
illegal to be on your phone in a car in the state of Ohio. Yes.
The method, though,
And I think
is
in
if I
Georgia.
look in your window and you're on your phone, then I can pull you over, or I can pull you over because you didn't have a seatbelt on or you broke some kind of traffic. As long as they don't do those things, they can clearly get away with it.
Well, in Ohio, you have to have a first offense and
Yeah.
the phone is only secondary.
Well, I think that changed where if you are looking at your phone, they can pull you over. I
Yeah.
don't see that happening.
I'm pretty sure in Georgia, it's, if you're
that would be a
touching
cool
your
weekend
phone.
if they just said, you know what? If we see you on your phone, we're pulling everybody, and everybody's pulled over. There are 1,600 trillion tickets for being on your phone given in one weekend. That would be amazing.
Almost certain, and someone can look it up and correct us. I'm almost certain, if not Ohio and Georgia, one of them at least.
But they don't do it.
It is an
because
offense to be seen on
because
your phone.
Honestly, there are offenders that are ahead on the priority list of people who are doing dangerous things. And if Lip Gloss Girl wants to stream while she's driving and she can do it safely, then more power to her. She's not going
What if
to,
it's not safe?
well, then they'll crash a bunch and then new legislation will happen and Lip Gloss Girl will be at a disadvantage. She'll have to go to the gym and do her filmings rather than drive.
They're probably not going to the gym. They make bad decisions about one thing. They're probably making bad decisions about another.
I bet you they go to the gym because that is their stage. They don't even really care about working out. But if they can get in tight clothes
They're just like,
and get in front of a mirror
take
and get
a video
oogled
of
by
myself.
get oogled by some muscle bound people and do a stream, like that is all of the
You're like, no,
ingredients.
I gotta drive home and talk about my workout and my protein and
Why do you twerk when you work out? I didn't know that was part of anybody's exercise routine.
Is that part of your exercise routine?
No, twerking. Well, I did twerk the other day.
You did?
I did twerk. Yes.
Why?
Yeah. Just to be funny. I like to make my wife laugh, and so I'll do crazy things just to
I do that for my kids. They hate it. I'll be like, I'll put on like booty work and dance
for
around.
sure. That's our job as parents is to
Yes,
be cringe
make your
and
kids uncomfortable.
100%.
I love it. Julie says, you win, Kelin. I listen to voicemails from my mom to remember her voice and recall times she was alive. It's a comfort.
Yeah.
See?
For you, like
And
Julie and Kelin like it.
Yes.
Right? And I don't have a need for it. And it's cool. We're okay not to have value in it. I'm not going to say you should be disallowed from
But
taking
you
pictures.
did directly say there is no point. You could be doing
To
something
me,
better.
that was my opinion.
No, you didn't say to
Okay.
me.
I'm going to update and add an asterisk.
Yeah,
and say,
do better.
To me, there's no utility in it. And so I'm not going to do it very often. If I find a utility in it, like my Einstein poster, then I'll do it because it's just me. It doesn't affect you at all.
Two songs went through my head where they say to me.
By the
way,
it did. Of course it did.
Two different songs.
All right. What else do you want to talk about?
Let's see. What have we covered? Trump's small penis, twerking, dead people.
We're terrible people. So there's a Warren court. I was reading about this morning.
A Warren what?
A Warren court.
Oh, a Warren
judge.
court.
Yes.
Okay.
A court in Warren, a judge who is running an amnesty program for people with warrants. It's called like the Safe Warrant Project or something like that. So you have a bunch of people that are out in society. They have warrants. They'll only be put in jail or brought in if they break some other rule. So there's a lot of people that are not paying their justice. So a judge says, you know what, let's give these people a chance to correct whatever problems that they're dealing with. So
is this like the equivalent of library's free return day?
Exactly. Amnesty Day. That's exactly what it is. So there's people out there. It's self-deporting, right?
Yeah.
You know you broke the law. Let's give you a nice slippery slide to do this the right way and
Turn
give you a
yourself
chance
in.
to do the right thing.
We'll
So
show mercy.
This court. Now, I want to know, like on a principle basis, you have three stratas, right? You have the people who are rule followers like me. You have the neutral people who sometimes follow the law and don't. They don't really have a principle that governs. And you have lawbreakers and rule breakers. Now, the people who follow the rule hate that so many people who don't follow the law, like when you do the speed limit and the guy passes you doing 80, you're like, I hope you get freaking caught, right?
Yes,
Hate
that's
them.
me.
Yes.
Yes.
And so, like, for a court to be soft on rule breakers, see, me, I want Tom Homan with a AK-47 and 3 grenades to go to every one of these warranted houses, because obviously you know who they are, you know where they are, put the effort in, go get these people so they can whatever. But if you need to softly invite these people in, now what do you think? The story did not say, like, what is soft about it. Like, once they're there, do they just like, haha, I got you, and then prosecute you and take you through court and put you in jail? Or is it like there's a little forgiveness in, like, we know you broke the law, and we really appreciate you coming to us and save our deputies from coming out and getting you. So here's what we're going to do for you. We're going to give you a path to re-merge with the rest of the people that are following the rules. What do you think is a good policy? What would you do? Kelin, you got the scepter.
I mean, first of all, I would probably do the first thing you said, which is
Tom Homan.
Yeah. Why are we just not getting them? We have these warrants for no reason. What's the point of a warrant then?
Exactly.
Go use it.
Yeah.
If we bypassed all reason and didn't do that, now we're on this amnesty day, then I would probably say amnesty day, turn yourself in.
We'll take it easy on it.
This will be a consideration.
They even have defense attorneys that are in the courtroom. So if anybody turns themselves in, the defense attorney will make arguments on their behalf in front of the judge. So nobody shows up and gets blindsided by the law.
There you go. Do that.
Okay.
Why? What would you do?
No, I just felt like, okay, well, on a strategy standpoint, if these people are elusive, and you figure out a way, like they in some of the ICE detentions, they're getting these box trucks and they're rolling the box trucks like a Penske truck or a U-Haul truck or whatever, and they're rolling them into a place where there's a lot of illegals congregate. And then they're opening up the back and they're running out and capturing all of these people that run away whenever, that it's time to get caught. And I'm thinking that's very creative. Or people are skipping out on things. They run a newspaper ad that says, like, you won $1 million. You just come down to the courthouse and claim your $1 million. And then when people show up, they're like, haha, you didn't win $1 million, but you have a warrant. Now you're going to jail. Those are clever because they're tricking people into doing it. This is sort of like on the other side of it, where we're not being, we're not being shady. We're not doing any kind of trickery. We're like, we know you break the rule.
We're trying to show you some grace.
Yeah, here's your grace time. It gets bad after this. So either you show up on Saturday and at least get this chunked out, or we're going to send SWAT team to your house on the next day and take you.
Because I would say, if we're giving you a lighter sentence because you came in,
you showed up,
and you don't carry out that sentence, amnesty goes out the window.
Okay. Give you one chance.
You get one chance. We're going to lessen this, do all the right things, come back when we tell you to, report, show me you served your time, and that will be it. You got off easy. But if you come in and then again make our job harder, then it's done. Then it's, guess what? Now you're back to what you would have gotten. Because what's the point if you're still not getting any justice served and you're still having to chase them down? And that's just a waste of time, I feel like.
Well, here's the big problem with the starting point that we're all at right now, is that when you create so many rules and laws, and you have industries that want to push people into prisons and deprive their liberty for a whole host of laws that you don't even know exist. What if you found out one day that AI has been tracking lawbreakers and that you broke the law 100 times? And you're on this amnesty list and you're like, I don't feel like I did anything wrong, but technically I broke some kind of laws. How many people that were super quick to put into the paddy wagon category are only loosely, deserve it of that kind of justice?
Yeah. And that would be taken into consideration. If you say, oh my gosh, I turned myself in, I did not know. Right. That's one thing than being like, here's a clearly well-known law and you did know. Those would be two totally different things.
But we have in us this whole pitchfork and torch mentality that when somebody can cast a lawbreaker, everybody universally says, oh yeah, lawbreaker shouldn't be amongst us. But it's only when the people corrupt the system and make people who aren't really lawbreakers, right, get put into that category, then we still extend that emotion towards them, even if they're like, whoa, dude, I went 60 years without anything, and this is a technicality. And yeah, I guess, I did break some kind of law and I'm willing to pay for it. But why are you gang tackling me? Right? When I've never shown any kind of, desire to break cultures and civilization's laws.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of that's mixed in there.
That's like we always talk about my speeding ticket example where I had to go to court for a speeding ticket and I, honest to God, did not know I was speeding. I was doing the speed limit of that road and I was told when I was pulled over that it was a school zone. Never saw a school, 4:30 in the morning. I mean, in the afternoon, town I'm not familiar with. No idea. I thought I was going the proper speed limit. And luckily, the judge had said, you don't really have a history of breaking laws. You showed up. You were respectful here. I believe you did not. Like I told her all the reasons how I wouldn't have known it was a school zone. I believe you. Pay court costs. That's it. Yes, ma'am. I will pay court costs. There you go.
There was your amnesty day.
Yeah.
You got to plead your case as court systems are supposed to work.
Yeah. I thought that was very fair.
But when everyone is cast into it, so you think when you're driving down the road that you're following the speed limit, but nobody else is. How many people could get speeding tickets on any given road at any given time that you're driving on? Tons, right?
Yeah.
So there aren't really anybody that is following the rules or the law. And if you are, you stick out like a sore thumb as the only person that's adhering to a speed limit. So then they're like, oh, we got to build some buffer in there, right? 9 miles. Do you know why the magical 9 miles an hour exists? It shouldn't exist anymore, by the way. Okay, so the calibration in mechanical speedometers had a plus or minus that it could be wrong. And so they determined that if you were looking at your speedometer and it said 60, you could have a plus or minus 5 mile per hour disagreement with what their radar or laser gun is going to show you are traveling in the real world.
Like I'll read one and they'll read another.
So that's number one.
Okay.
And then their laser and radar guns also have a margin of error. So if you happen to have a speedometer that says you're going 5 miles an hour less than you're actually going, coupled with somebody's radar gun that's calibrated that said you were going 5 miles an hour or 4 miles an hour faster than you were actually going, the worst case scenario is that you were going the speed limit and their gun was off and it said you were going 69 when really you were going 60. So it's built in that there's no excuse because calibrated the way that they do has a plus or minus of 4 miles per hour. And speedometers, mechanical ones, were off by a lot because it was just a bunch of gears that were making that thing spin. In today's deal, today's speedometers are much more accurate than a plus or minus 5. So if they wound that back to maybe 5 miles an hour to compensate for the laser or radar guns being a little less accurate, then we would know for sure. So there you go.
I did not know that. I thought it was just sort of grace because of the way things speed up, slow down, whatever. Interesting.
There you go. They're building in the margin of error into the formulation.
I knew a cop one time that told me he'll never arrest someone for doing something he would also do. And at the time, this was like an example he gave was like with marijuana. And this was years ago. Marijuana wasn't even almost legal. He's like, if I bust someone and they have a little weed on them, have a nice day. Don't let me see that again. He's like, everybody does it. I'm not going to say I don't do it. This was the cop. And so you better get that out of here. Don't make me see that again kind of thing. He's like, if somebody is doing something a little against the law, I guess. And he's like, and I am not really like, who am I to say I wouldn't do that too? He's like, I'll let him go. How do you feel about that?
No, I mean, that's reasonable. You know, I was on 680 the other day and it's in a 50 mile an hour zone. And I was not even looking at the speed limit. If I put on autopilot, you know what autopilot does? It just follows the speed of traffic. So it just safely puts you in line with everybody who's around you, right? So when I looked down, I was going 63 miles an hour in a 50 mile an hour zone, which I was 13 miles over the speed limit. But safety wise, all of the traffic was going at the exact same speed, which is the safest arrangement for speed. It wasn't curves. It wasn't dangerous. And so I look behind me and there's a cop in line with all of the traffic going exactly the same speed. So if he felt like there was a safety issue, then the cop would have flicked on his lights and slowed traffic down and whatever. But he didn't do it because everybody had the safe expression of the speed that you should do. Now, he would have, if asked, he probably would have said, I wish the whole group was going slower. But you can't disagree with him. I started going slower in the midst of that traffic. I would have been an unsafe sitting freaking duck.
I saw a cop on 680 one time, did not have lights on, but I was in one lane going the speed limit, and he's way back here and just flies up and passes me, and off you go, clearly speeding.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you don't
You're
look,
special.
your lights aren't on.
Yeah.
And
he has somewhere to be. Like his schedule.
Like, how come you're allowed to drive like that?
Go ask him. Find out where he was headed.
Yeah,
and
I should chase him down.
Yeah,
And
don't
over
assume that he was just on a coffee run or something like that. Assume that he had an emergency that didn't necessarily make his turn his lights on, but he had to get there a little faster than you did.
Hey, serious question.
Yeah.
Are U-turns legal in the state of Ohio if there is not a no U-turn sign?
That's a good question. I do not think they're legal.
Because, down south they are, but I know usually in Ohio they're not. And here in our building, our main entrance is blocked by construction. And you sort of have to do a little U-turn to get back into this entrance. Now, I usually do my little Louis down here. And every time I do it, I'm like, I wonder if this is legal. But I do it.
I'm going to ask.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no sign.
Is it legal in Ohio to do U-turns?
If not marked.
Don't add to my...
That matters.
It doesn't. For the most part, yes, U-turns are legal. In fact, the local municipal code governs U-turns for city... the state code. So both have the same situational context regarding legality of the maneuver. So yes, U-turns are legal unless signage says no.
So I can do that. Good. I just wanted to make sure, because every time I come here, I do that, and I kind of look around and I'm like, am I allowed to be doing this? But I don't know what else to do. It's the only entrance that I can use, and there's a median there.
Yeah, I think if you have a cop and they enforce code because you are clearly putting other people in danger, then they'll enforce it. But if there was something that it was
Traffic's
all you,
open,
and you were safe, you weren't causing a problem, that's a person who knows the mission statement of what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's not to grab money from you because the city needs some extra money. It's I'm looking around. I'm looking for safety. Anything that says that this is an unsafe thing, I'm going to use the law to make things more safe. I think that's good, actionable.
People do say that police are normally out in larger numbers like the first of the month because they have a quota to meet. Do you believe that?
And I believe that, yes, there are quotas. I think municipalities make a ton of funding, and they basically say we fill the coffers with tickets that they can collect. I 100% believe that. Now, the governor said that no such thing. We are disallowing and we are getting rid of quotas. So in order for them to get rid of quotas, there have to have been quotas before. So yeah, Ohio is a law that makes sure that any of the administrations aren't using quotas. So for instance, like we had one city around here that was it was crime infested. I mean, there were thefts and burglaries and whatever.
Was it called Youngstown?
I'm not telling you the city because I'm not going to do that. And all of their police force, the duties that were put on were traffic enforcement. So they would hide in, four-way stops, wait for someone to, like me, to blow through the stop sign and give them tickets. They would wait for speeders, all while burglaries and gang violence and whatever was happening. And all of their patrolmen were put into issuing tickets rather than that. And so that is the misuse of government.
Yeah.
Is to be, and even like the speed cameras on bridges like that you're not making anything safe. That's a money grab. And we hate that.
Like I've always said, I remember when I was younger and I was living here, if I was out, and I'm like 18, 19 years old, college kid going out with their girlfriends at night, downtown Youngstown, on our drive home, when it's 2, 3 in the morning, I'm not stopping at a stoplight for more than like 5 seconds. I'm going. And I used to say, I dare a cop to pull me over. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm an unattended 19-year-old girl at 2 a.m. in Youngstown. I'm not sitting at a stoplight.
To watch that Karen moment go down.
I don't think I would have been blamed.
But listen,
I don't think I would have been blamed.
Do you know how many women know that they get special exemptions from law because of those things that they say? So they're just waiting.
If you're a cop, would you blame me? Would you be like, yeah, get out of here? I don't even want to be standing out here.
But because you're willing to do that for some people, then it's exploited by other people where they don't feel like the law applies to them. And you get this entitled group of people who are like, let's just say you give me, I have a lie detector, right?
Uh-huh.
And I put it on you and I ask you the question, did you go through that stoplight because you really did feel unsafe? And I watch the little meters go off versus, that you could just say that thing and not have to follow a rule, which is more tempting, right? And I bet you a majority of the people know that they can just do and say that. And they're like, oh, I get to do it. I get to do the I feel unsafe thing. And then my lie detector would show that's a freaking lie.
My lie detector would have said, yeah, she was
it
scared.
Should apply. And that cop would be like, oh, you were really afraid. And that is the proper move. And then other people are like, dude, you're drunk off your ass. You have no soul, right?
Yeah.
You weren't afraid. You just wanted to break some laws because you have a rebellious spirit.
Do you know yesterday when I left here, I'm at a stop sign or a stoplight and not one, but 2 cars just go right through it. And I'm not saying it's one of those, oh, it was yellow, it had just turned. I mean, I'm sitting there for a hot minute and these cars go, they slow down, don't care, and they keep going. And I even I looked at the light again and I'm like, am I not supposed to stop? Like it was so blatant. And it's right around here where, I don't know if that's Commerce or South Avenue or what. If you went left, you could have gone to Penguin City. Right. But I was going right to go up the hill. You stopped there, correct? That's a stoplight.
For you and I.
So it was the people in the right lane. 2 of them just.
So let me share some wisdom from my grandmother, because when I was going to get my license when I was 16, she let me use her car and she went out with me a couple times and she imparted me with the best driver's wisdom ever. All right. And so I pulled up to a stop sign and I did a full 2-second stop. And my grandmother said, "What are you doing?" And I said, the rule says that you make a 2-second stop when you come up to a stop sign. And she said, "Joey, let me tell you this."
Little Joey.
Joey, let me tell you this. The only time you stop at a stop sign is when there's either other cars that can see that you're actually stopped or there's a police officer. And so my grandmother gave me the wisdom that
advice.
No, that was good advice.
Okay.
So I used to work at 4:00 in the morning, right? And my drive dumped me out on a busy intersection in Warren. And every time at 4:00 in the morning, there was this light. It was a 60-second light. And every morning I'm sitting at a light where there isn't a single car going in another direction for the entire, it's desolate. There's nobody anywhere. Do you know how many times I sat there and said, I should just go through this thing? There's not a single car. Like the stoplight's purpose is to make sure traffic takes turns getting into an intersection. There are no other people. And my grandmother's wisdom was popping in my head and she said, are there other cars? Nope. Are there any police cars? Nope. Go, Joey, go.
Go, Joey, go.
Go, Joey, go. And that's what I heard. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds like very sound wisdom.
I have been stuck. There's a light in the center of Poland. You're coming from Struthers and that little kind of right by the clock, that little side street, there's a little light there. I was coming home one night, and again, late at night, no cars on 224, no cars where I am, no cars 17, no cars. And I sat there for so long. I finally said, this light is clearly broken.
Yes.
It's clearly never going to change. I'm going to go through it.
See?
Yeah, I would have been there forever.
Grandma would be very proud of you.
Did you love your grandma? Your little Mimi?
She was good.
Do you wish you had a voicemail message of her voice that you could hear again?
No.
Do you look at pictures of your grandmother ever?
Never. But her wisdom sticks in my brain, and that's where it should be.
and you reminisce.
Yeah.
The only difference between what you just did and what people like Julie and I do is we just have a hard copy picture. You pulled it up in your brain and you were like,
my grandmother also
Mima.
lost her license because she drove onto the wrong way on a highway. So that was number one. You've done that.
I didn't lose my license, but I did it.
And she was also threatened to be kicked out of her retirement home because she kept pulling the fire alarm. So those are two.
Why?
I don't know. She wanted
just
to.
Elderly, or she knew what she was doing.
She was a chaos. She was probably bored out of her skull.
This
She pulled the fire
a
alarm.
lot.
They pull my family in.
Oh,
and we can't have people pulling the fire alarm, and it's there for emergencies, and we can't have her do that. And the guy walked out of the office, and we said, "Grandma, you know that that's causing a problem, and they're not happy about that." And she said, "I'm gonna do it again." She said that to us, and so we quote that in our family. The spirit of Grandma lives with us, and I'm gonna do it again. She never did do it, but she said she was going to, and that was the spirit that Grandma is in me.
That's fun. See, you love your Mima.
We never said Mima.
I know, it's a Sheldon Cooper thing. He calls his grandma Mima, and you're Sheldon Cooper.
Is there like dialect or different language that's used within the different classes of people, like Mima and whatever grandfather?
I don't know how that starts.
Or Poppy or whatever.
Yeah, like I had a Nana and a Papa and a Grandma and a Grandpa.
Yeah.
And that's how you knew who you were talking about, which grandparent. Well, that's Papa, that's Grandpa, or that's Nana, that's Grandma. And you knew. I've heard like German people say, oh, what's the word? Oh, somebody tell me, what's a German word for grandmother? I don't use it, but au pair? I don't know. I
thought that was like a nanny. A living
nanny,
au pair.
I'm thinking of something though. There's another thing. But yeah, Papa.
Yeah, but what the argument was that
Mima.
Like fancy rich people say grandmother and grandfather. And
Oma. Thank you, Patricia.
And
Oma.
they say it in a very British accent. So grandfather and grandmother.
Grandfather.
Okay, those are the rich fancy people.
Yes.
Then you have grandpa and grandma. That is middle class. And then Mima, Papa, whatever is low class.
Or Nan. Like
Nan?
My aunt is my younger cousin's grandmother.
Okay.
And when growing up, they called her Nanny. And now that they're all adults, they shorten it to Nan. Hey, Nan. So like she just goes by Nan all the time, which is funny because she admitted to me one time she's hated Nanny. Hated being called that, but that's just what the grandkids said. And so it stuck. And I knew a woman many, many years ago. I worked with a woman whose teenage daughter got pregnant, and she would say, I am too young to be a grandmother. I refuse to be called grandma. I'm not old enough. And so they called her Lolly, which was short for lollipop. I'm like, what? Why? First of all, how does a toddler say lolly with an L? I can't even imagine.
Wowie.
Which is another reason I think a lot of grandparents will get their nickname based off of what the kid could say.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my son was born, my daughter was 1, and she was trying to say brother, but it came out as Gaga. And so Ethan was Gaga for years. Like, oh, go give this to Gaga. Where's Gaga? Like his nickname was Gaga because that's what Kira called him. And so I think a lot of grandparents are whatever Mimi, because a kid could say Mimi, that's just kind of how it.
Yeah, I think you need to teach those kids how to talk, and don't buy.
It's brother. Are you stupid?
Learn to enunciate,
God.
Kid, and if you allow them to take the lazy way out, then their language is gonna be all messed up.
Brother.
Exactly.
What is so hard about
practice
that?
enunciation.
Patricia says, my friend refused to be called grandma because she thought it made her sound old. She wanted to be called Mimi. Yeah, I know a lot of Mimis.
Yeah.
For that same reason. And it's like, but you're still a grandma. Does it matter?
That's kind of selfish, though. Like,
yeah. I remember my mother-in-law called dibs on Nana before we ever had kids. Never even got pregnant yet. We had a dog, and she would get cups that said Nana and like called Nana. And I was like, well, I mean, it'll be whatever the kid says, I guess.
Mm.
How do you feel about, there are some people that are real strict on using the anatomically correct term for body parts with young children rather than the
Very
childish
much so.
names.
Very much so.
I went that route, actually.
Mhm.
I guess I should say I did a hybrid of it. I found that when they were younger, I would use the actual terms. And once I knew they knew the term and they knew it, for whatever reason, now that they're older, they blush more about it. So now we use oh, you're good.
The baby words?
Your chocha.
Yeah, not
Your
me.
we.
Yeah, we say uncomfortable things on a regular basis that cause all kinds of cringe every day.
Here's a fun story.
Okay.
One time my son was sitting in the living room and he started going, my pineapples hurt. And I was like, what? My pineapple hurts. I was like, your what hurts? Your pineapple. Yeah, my pineapple hurts. And I was like, but he point to your pineapple. And he was talking about his nipples. His nipple became pineapple. I get it. Now we call them pineapples.
I don't have a quip. I don't have wit.
You know, like there's nothing your son said
Why are
wrong,
you
and you're
so
like,
red?
I want to keep
Why-
it.
No. Now when he was younger, he used to swap some like Anzo, like vinegar became Viganer. So there was
Yeah,
some-
do you still call it that?
no.
Come on.
No.
I was so sad when my kids'
No.
cute little words, they corrected it to the correct word. I'm like, no, Starbucks was Starbucket.
Mhm.
Library instead of library.
You don't.
I'm like, it's a
enforce-
library.
No, you don't. You're right. You correct.
Library.
You tell,
No, it's a library
it is not.
because that was adorable.
It was adorable, but still, it makes dumber kids if you tell them the
sign
wrong
language.
answer. No, don't do.
Do you know what
this.
sign language is?
No, I don't.
Sign
It's not
language.
even a word. Doesn't exist.
Sign language.
Nope.
Yep.
Does not exist.
And so sad when they correct it.
I'm
I
so
want
happy
my
that
babies.
maybe our species survives another decade.
Listen, it's not like if they were becoming dumb and couldn't get it right, I'd be concerned.
Right.
But hey, you got good grades. You know the real word when needed. You know what it actually is.
Oh,
What's the harm in
yeah.
reminiscing again
Little
about how you
intellectual
used to say
laziness is
stuff?
just completely okay amongst friends.
My husband still says when he was a kid, instead of fire truck, he says, whoa, a trier.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is now.
Okay. I'm not saying anything I will not criticize because this is a very healthy exchange.
What is that in the brain, do you think, when you invert things accidentally or say something,
As much talking as we do, you compose thoughts on the fly. And a lot of times, like, I don't think about what I'm going to say. It just kind of comes as a fabric of what it is that we
you
do.
speak before you think?
100%.
Oh, you're just giving your haters ammo.
100%. And
Just
so,
hand
but
it to
that's
them.
not typical on how people organize articulating certain thoughts. A lot of people will weave those things together, think about what they're going to say. And a lot of times the language gets garbled up, the more thoughts you interrupt yourself in your head. And so I think it's just when you our queue's always empty because we say whatever we're thinking and we don't have to like store it up. What are you laughing about?
I think we speak before we think all the time.
All the time, like constantly. That's what we
this
do.
show.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, 90% of the people aren't built that way. So in order, you know some people who that if you put them in front of this microphone and they could not just free verse what they were thinking, they would have to make bullet points and paragraphs, rehearse it. My son did a 1-minute pitch, right? He spent days figuring out every word that he wanted to use and how it needed to be structured. And when you have the written word, it doesn't flow off your tongue as well as the spoken. So sometimes you'll have to go back to the written word and change it so it's easier to say and it sounds more fluent and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't think, again, with untrained professionals who haven't done it in a while, that they're used to doing it. And then so when you have to say an important thing, like you go in front of a judge and you got to say your thing, what are the chances that it's going to flow out the way that it should without you mixing something up or whatever?
Especially when nerves kick in and all that. Oh, when I first got into radio, the program director at the time made every new person write out their breaks word for word. Everything you're going to say, write it out, keep it there written. And I get his point was to make it so I guess you don't freeze. You're not just like, I got nothing. And then you sound like an idiot on the air. But I could always hear it and tell someone was reading. You read that.
Right.
Every time a big like XM station or somebody has like a celebrity guest host, you hear it in their voice. They're reading everything they say.
That's right.
Even though the language was written to sound conversational, it doesn't.
Right. When I did my TED Talk, I rehearsed for 3 months on every word that I was going to say for an entire 10-minute speech. And what was not surprising, but what magnified that whole process was somebody that I did business with said, "Hey, I hear you're doing a TED Talk. What's it going to be about?" And I gave them a summary of it. And I was like, holy shit, what I just told them was better than what my talk was, because all I did was take the finer points, told them what they wanted to hear. Didn't take 10 minutes. It was more like a 5-minute summary of it. But I was like, if I could just go do that, I would want to listen to that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But I bet the one that I read off was so structured and sounded more monotone than it would be, and my inflections were all rehearsed for inflections, and it just wasn't the same. That's not how people are used to hearing speech.
Yeah, it's almost like instead of being a normal person communicating an idea, all you're doing is reading the script in your mind and trying to remember words. So then who knows how it sounds coming out, because you're not mentally there. You're not engaging with the audience trying to say something. You're back here, at least for me, in my brain, just trying to remember the piece of paper and what it says.
Yeah, not going to do it.
I
ever.
hate
it's just
that.
Not my thing.
Oh,
Have you ever watched the show Adolescence?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I believe it's Netflix is what it's on, and Justin had suggested that it's a cool, different type of series. Okay, so what they do is you watch a normal series and it's structured like a movie where you have different scenes and they cut away and go to other scenes and they do time gaps. Well, this one is a single take show. So it's a 40-minute show. And when they put the camera on, you travel with the characters and they never cut away. So when they go somewhere,
I've seen those before.
You have to go with them. And when I'm thinking about it,
moves.
Right.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, like you have to do it all in one take. So all of your lines, all of your interactions, everything that you do, you can't mess up. Or if you mess up, like they messed up in one of the episodes I was watching, the dude was supposed to come out and they had vandalism that was on the side of their van. And he was supposed to come out, take a bucket of paint and splash it and hide the vandalism. Now, it was an erratic scene where he was unreasonable and unhinged and angry. And when he hit, it barely touched any of the vandalism. And it was just more like on the front of it. So, but he didn't break stride. He just followed whatever. And you almost made excuses for him, right? Because in part of your brain, you knew he messed up and he didn't even hit the vandalism. But then the other part's like, well, it was just a real scene where an upset guy missed hitting the vandalism. And that's even more real than if it would have perfectly hit all of the letters and the captions of what was vandalized.
There are 2 instances of that I've seen recently. One was really cool. Do you know that Justin Timberlake song? What's it called? Say Something? Justin Timberlake and I would know his name any other moment but this one. Bearded singer, scruffy voice, wears a hat. Justin Timberlake and so, they have a music video that is one take. They never cut away. And so it's very impressive. They talk about what goes into shooting a music video. They were performing live, singing in this place while walking, while doing things. And the entire song, this video was shot in one take. And then they all cheer at the end because it was so hard to do. So that was cool. But the show, The Chosen, I keep saying you got to watch The Chosen. There was one episode where all of his followers are standing in a circle discussing something, and they do it in one take. And it made me dizzy because it's this person says something, and then that person over there says something, but you can't cut away. You just do this, and then somebody else says something, and the camera goes, and I'm like, please just cut it. Please just cut. It's dizzying. But my first thought was every single one of those actors had to know their lines. There couldn't be, you say it, you screwed up, so let's wait and just shoot it from you again. It better be like, don't mess
But
this up.
You know, when there is dialogue that you have to read, that is incredibly hard to get it right.
Yeah.
So to have an entire 45-minute movie where everybody nails their lines, their actions, their interactions, and the cameraman follows along and hits everybody the way they should. That is so impressive to me that that's even possible.
Yes. I've been interested in acting for a long time, but I've done very, very little. And I think what has held me back from pursuing any of it is my fear that I can't remember a lot of lines. But what's so cool is there's some movie production page I follow on Instagram. And what they do is they will show a snippet from a movie. And as you're watching the clip from the movie, the script rolls underneath every character and what they say. And you watch them perform it in real time with the script. Do you have any idea how often they change it?
I bet.
Didn't say this line, totally reworded this line, ad-libbed something that's not in the script. And I went, that's how they do it. They get the general point across, but ultimately the actors will say like, well, a normal person would have actually said this here or something. Right. And they can play a little bit. And I was like, oh, well, that's fun.
Reassuring.
Yeah, very
you can
reassuring.
Do a lot of more ad-libbing. You can do more improv, because that would work for me. If someone was like, hey, I want you to go in this field and just act very disturbed, whatever a disturbed person in the middle of the field would say, go. And I'd be like, oh yeah, baby.
Yeah. And a lot of times like comedians in movies, they'll say like, oh, that whole scene was ad-libbed and it was great. Like, just do whatever you think would be funny or something. And it's like, that's reassuring for sure.
Okay.
Oh, show.
What else? We got another 10 minutes, or we can cut it off now, whatever you would like. This was kind of cool. I think yesterday's show was good because it was very dark, but it was non-political for the most part. Well, it was a lot political. But
Yesterday was a lot political.
Not political as in cheerleading or, whatever. It was just a very dark version of it.
Yeah, like you were just uncharacteristically mean, apparently.
Very much uncharacteristically mean. And maybe I should be more characteristic tomorrow.
Yeah, would they have rather you have been characteristically mean? Like maybe you should just start being a mean person? Would that be better?
I don't know. Because I pick my battles. I'm only mean when the MLO bros are around. Like, I'm very mean. They just give me bad stomach pain, so I lash out.
They give you bad stomach pain. When MLO bros are on, do you sit there like, oh, we're getting sued? Oh God, we're getting sued. Or are you ever like, please don't?
Every freaking minute I'm uncomfortable. Like, there's always something that makes me think like, this is going to be bad. Like this, we're going to go down a bad trail. This was a bad topic. Somebody's going to be mad at us.
Thank God there's no FCC.
There really isn't a moment where I'm like, oh, this was happy trails.
Hey, this went well. There's never a moment it goes well.
No,
is that it?
It is me uncomfortable for 2 hours.
So what are you going to do? I'm not here on Monday. What are you going to do Monday?
I have a couple of people I've been wanting to interview, and I'll probably bring them in. And then everybody that listens to this show will say, that was okay, but it's not Kelin. It's not Kelin. Bring Kelin back. Is Kelin coming back? When's Kelin going to be back?
I'm going to be down south for the weekend.
Oh, bless your heart.
And exactly. And I'm so bummed because it's going to be beautiful here. Yeah. And rainy and crappy down south. The whole time I'm there.
You abandon us, and that's what happens. So
I was like, at any other time people go to the south for nice weather, I'm going to leave nice weather and go to crappy weather.
Absolutely. And you deserve it of it.
Great. That'll be fun, though. I'll have fun. My hair will get all frizzy, and I'll be like, crazy hair, don't care. Whatever. You said Riz earlier, so don't come for my whatever. Riz. Skibbity toilet Riz.
Oh my goodness.
Bull crap. God.
Now you're MLOing me.
Does your son ever use does he use those words?
No.
Like that's a real skibbity toilet Riz was a real phrase. I don't know how to translate it, but
okay. Well, let's look that up real quick. And have a little segment.
Skibbity toilet Riz.
Gen Z words. And let's see.
Riz is charisma. I did know that.
Yeah.
You got some
Delulu.
charisma.
That's delusional.
Delulu. You're so Delulu. I'm going to use that.
Okay. Slay.
Slay, I've heard. Remarkably impressive.
A W or L, win or loss.
Yeah.
No cap. I hate this one.
Oh, yeah. My kids have said that too.
Yeah.
Being
Be a
truthful
liar.
and meaning
You're not lying is really what it is. No cap means no lie.
cap is a lie, I guess.
Yeah. And no cap means that you're telling the truth.
It's sending me.
But
Very
here's the
funny.
thing. Like when you have these terms, they have to originate. Like a famous person said it, so then it gets adopted by other people. But when I have a word that already exists that means exactly what you need it to, you don't need to layer on a new thing that means it. Like if I have to translate that no cap means truth has less letters.
Yeah.
So if it's in a world where you have to type letters and less letters equals faster messaging, then no cap and truth, there isn't a faster, more efficient translation.
And we already have slang words like you've got game, could be you've got Riz. We already got one for that. I just thought of one. Oh God, what was it? Shit, I just had it. What was the one I wanted to put? Oh, I hate when they change the meaning of the same term. Like when we were younger, to say you ate it, you probably like biffed, you fell, you hurt yourself. It was bad. Oh, I ate it. Like something bad happened. It didn't go the way you planned. Now, if you ate, that's a good thing. Like, girl, slay, you ate. I mean, you ate that, meaning you did so well. And I'm like, no. Make up your own words if you want, but don't change the meaning of phrases and words that already have an opposite meaning.
That is my complaint.
Yeah. Exactly. If you ate it, I'm going to think you fell off your skateboard.
If you invent a word that there was not a better word already in the dictionary, then I'm cool with that. Right. But if there's already a better one, just use that one. You don't have to invent a new one. The English language is already complicated enough to add these different things, right? That only one generation knows what they mean and how to use them appropriately.
Yeah.
We don't need that segmentation.
I still want to know where we got for crying out loud. What is that for?
I don't know.
For crying out loud.
That's greatest generation
That's just
terminology.
The funniest term to think of. And I'm like, where did that even start? I don't know.
So it's sending me is to be funny. Sus, suspicious.
To serve, to look good.
Well, you serve them. You look good.
Okay.
You slap.
Serve.
This one makes no sense. Something that's very cool is slap.
That slaps.
That's cool.
Again, that sounds like it would be bad.
Your performance slaps this year, so I gave you a bigger bonus. If you ever use the word slaps in a professional setting, you'll be fired. You're not getting a bonus. This slaps you as this slaps does it. Let me slap you with unemployment.
I got a new idea, Joe, and this slaps.
Oh my goodness.
You're like, I'm going to slap you with a lawsuit.
Right. It's giving comparison to something.
Yeah, I hate that one too.
Duplicate.
Mentee B.
A mental breakdown. Mentee B.
Having such a mentee B right now.
Side eye. I get that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The brain isn't braining. This is a Kelin right now.
My brain isn't braining.
This is a Kelin. Don't ever use it, but I could so see that coming out of your mouth.
I use that math ain't mathing.
Yes.
When something doesn't add up.
And did you know that emoticons have been translated into things, into deeper meanings?
That's not chef's kiss. That's a lip emoji. That's lips. Chef's kiss is this. That's another big thing. If people go, oh, it's chef's kiss.
Yeah.
That means it's a good thing.
Do you know the different color hearts and what they mean?
No. Well, yes. I assume red is love.
Yes. Like one's want to have sex with you. One of it. Well, I'll just
really.
Yeah.
I just use it for like general stuff. Like if I'm talking about my dog, it's a golden retriever, so I use like the yellow or gold heart. Red is love you, orange is friend, yellow is bestie, green is jealous, blue is friend zone, purple is fancy, brown is trust, black is sad, white is pretty. I did not know that. And then
these aren't true. This
is
not a
broken heart's obvious. Now, if you were to ever watch Big Bang Theory, you would see the episode where Amy Farrah Fowler explains that the now common heart shape that we see that we put on Valentine's was actually designed to look like a woman bending over. And that's her buttocks.
No.
Bending over.
Okay.
And then Penny says, are you telling me I spent middle school dotting my I's with little asses.
I love Penny. She's cool.
So now I think about that. Every time we use a heart, that's all it is.
Carter said maybe Dan Rivers could fill in for Kelin. I actually talked to Dan the other day. He's one of my early mentors, so we talk every once in a while. And he gave me good advice about the digital media side, the podcasting side. And I asked him, I said, hey, this is an open invitation. Anytime you want to come down, I'll even kick Kelin off the show for that day if he really wants to do it. But yeah, he hasn't taken me up on that offer. But
Carter says I will be missed.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll miss you too, Carter.
Yeah. So I like you when you're here, for sure.
You're like, if I have no one else.
Yeah.
I don't have anyone better to talk to. We'll have Kelin.
You get to play in a softball game that is being billed as a celebrity softball game. Do you consider yourself a celebrity?
I will on that day. No.
That day you will be a celebrity?
No, I found it funny, but I get it. Like, when I was many years ago, the radio station I worked for, we would go to like little events and things like that. And I remember it was like the only time, but they would call it celebrity events if a radio DJ was there. And I always found it to be so funny. But I remember being a kid and looking up to radio DJs, and I was at some fair, carnival, something. And this little girl had no idea who I was. But when somebody said, oh, she's on the radio and oh, I'm Kelin and I'm on this station, this girl like hyperventilated. I mean, she had to have been maybe 6. And she's like, you're on the radio. And I was like, I promise you it's not that big of a deal. And then the funnier thing is, if I'm out and I just meet someone and we're chatting and they say, what do you do? And I say, oh, I work for this radio station. They're like, what do you mean what do you do? What do you mean you work for the radio station? I said, oh, I'm on air. I do their middays or something. And they're like, you're on the radio? And I'm like, I feel like I should be offended. Why is that so hard to believe? And then they're like, well, say something in your radio voice. I was like, I have one voice. I don't have a different voice. And they're just like, no, you don't. No, you don't. And I was like, again, I feel offended. Like, why is that hard to?
Well,
like,
number one,
people don't live around here who are on the radio.
No, listen. They don't put pretty people on the radio. That's number one. So when they see you and they say, oh, she's so pretty, you're on the radio. They put grotesque people in front of a microphone. They put pretty people on TV.
Don't always look
so
like
that's why
on the
they
radio.
were caught off guard.
Yeah.
And so that now makes sense to you.
I mean, if this show were not on camera, I would probably look totally different.
You would not dress up if it were just me.
I would probably
talk about the underhanded.
You're not important
brought me
enough.
Down a peg or two. Not important. Huh?
But you know who you should have on Monday?
Who?
Julie.
Oh, dude! If I could get both Julie and Carter,
Julie,
open invitation. If you want to join me and do what we do in person, you are welcome. Carter, same invitation goes out to you. I think Carter and I would be kind of boring because it would just be he and I, high-fiving each other.
Yeah.
And so that
you
would
need a
be
little
as
opposition.
I need someone to argue back and get passionate.
Yeah.
And get over the top. Do you know what celebrity means, by the way? The origin, the root word?
No.
I study etymology. So celebrity, cella, is to not have sex, celibacy. And then Britty is a UK or British person. So it's a British person that doesn't have sex means celebrity. So when you're claiming to be celebrity, you're acknowledging that you're a sexless Brit. But you didn't know that.
All right, I get it. It applies.
Yeah.
I totally see it.
Yeah. That is total horseshit. I made all of that up. I don't want you going off the
I'm going to say that's what I
am.
am.
In a wine party,
Brit.
like, I want to share something with you while I eat my crumpets.
Sexless Brit.
And I'm a celebrity. And
I'd be like, fun fact.
But I don't want you calling that in a smart moment at all. So,
and then I would look dumb. Carter says, guaranteed celebrities in Youngstown and one for sure in Kentucky. Is he in Kentucky?
I think so.
Are you in Kentucky, Carter? Is that what you mean? Hey, the radio station I work for is out of Columbus, Georgia. So maybe I am in Georgia too. If we are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is on YouTube. Maybe we are all over the world.
Best test next week. I'm going to set you out on the sidewalk out here. And I'm going to put you in front of a table with some Sharpie markers and some headshots. And it's going to say autograph signing 1 to 4. right? And based on how many people ask for the autograph is how your celebrity status will be. C-list, B-list, A-list.
No one knows who I am. Nobody. I did. What was funny is many years ago, we had a family friend who was a photographer out of Pennsylvania. And he's like, hey, I need somebody to be my model for this ad. I'm working for a company and they do post-up stands, like those visual aids that contract and then you pull them up. You know what I'm talking about? He's like, it's a company that sells those. I need somebody to kind of model in this ad for their little local advertisement. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do it. And went and bought a suit and they put it on me. And I got like $400, I think, to do some of their little local ads. A couple years later, I'm on a plane to Mexico and I open up Sky Mall magazine and there I am. For years, I was in Sky Mall magazine. And it was so funny because I'd start to talk to strangers on a plane. And after talking for a while and getting to know each other, I'd say, you want to see something kind of funny? And they're like, yeah. I was like, look on page whatever in your Sky Mall. And they'd go, oh my God. And I would say, I'm an international model.
I figured you'd open it. I figured you'd open it and linger on that page, hoping that someone would say, oh, that's you.
I was like, oh, I'm so cool. No.
All right, we're getting out of here. Have fun on your weekend. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us